Hello, friends, and thank you for joining me on another episode of True Crime Past and Present. Today, I want to go ahead and bring to your attention this brand new case out of New Hampshire. Little one's name is Harmony Montgomery. At the time she disappeared, she was 5 years old, and has been 2 years since she has been seen, but only up to December of 2021, she was reported missing. So a little information about this case. So she was last seen in early October 2019. There was an incident at the home where, according to some news source, an uncle tried to go and see her. There was some type of altercation at the home with the uncle and the biological father, to whom it is believed he had custody at the time. Police was called, and that was around the last time anyone had seen her. Bio father had cut off communication with the rest of the family. Now, the police recently described this case as a very concerning case just because the child has not been seen. Biological mom's name is Chris Renee Soray. Now, according to the mom, she believed that the child was living with the father, but the father would block her phone calls. She would try to get in contact with him, according to mom, and he wouldn't respond, or there was just no communication. And so police were notified by the Department of Children's Services from that state that there was something concerning about this child. And so basically that's how the police department came into knowledge into what happened. I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit about the case, and we would go from there.
The police department, and he is leading all investigative matters for the police department. All right, I want to begin by thanking all of you for coming today. Your continued interest in locating 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery is appreciated and is essential to this investigation. As you know, more than 2 years has passed since Harmony was last seen. That puts us at a disadvantage, and the public's help is greatly needed. That being said, we are announcing today the creation of a dedicated tip line for this case. As you can see on the boards in front of me, that number is 603-203-6060. I say again, 603-203-6060. That phone number will be manned by one of our juvenile detectives 24/7. Tips can come in by phone or by text, either one. This will not be an extension that sends callers immediately to a voicemail. This will be monitored by a detective at all times so we can gather tips and act on them immediately. In addition to that phone number
You booked a sunny Verbo ski chalet with endless views of snow-covered peaks.
mentioned, the Manchester Crime Line is offering $2,500 reward, the most allowed through that organization for tips that lead to Harmony being found. Normally, Crime Line rewards are for information regarding crimes. I'd like to emphasize that the Crime Line has made an exception and has generously made that exception for this missing child case. Additionally, local businessmen Dick Anignos and Arthur Sullivan have also offered $10,000 for tips that lead to Harmony being found. I want to personally thank the Crime Line, Mr. Anignos and Mr. Sullivan for their generous actions on behalf of finding Harmony. I cannot emphasize enough how important any and all tips are. Even if you believe you saw this little girl a year ago or 2 years ago, please call in. Knowing where she was can help us narrow down where she is now. The Manchester Police Department is working with DCYF as well as the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in every effort to locate Harmony. That tip line again is 603-203-6060. And again, it can receive phone calls and text messages. Please share this information and utilize it. I'm appealing to everyone. Help us find this little girl. Someone knows something. Do what is right and call in. I cannot emphasize that enough. Somebody out there knows something. It's time for people to do the right thing. I cannot say it enough. I cannot emphasize it enough. Someone needs to call in, do the right thing, and provide us information on where Harmony may be. Again, that number is 603-203-6060. Help us find Harmony.
Okay, and as if you heard the chief speaking there, he did have a little crackling in his voice. You know, this is a very emotional case. You know, he shared the news conference went on, and I'll link it in my description box if you want to go ahead and check it out. But he did mention that this is a very you know, troubling case for him, because he doesn't basically understand how is it that a child just went missing, and nobody said anything, right? And I also have a little more background information that I thought it was a little more revealing. So there's a second sibling. His name is Jameson, according to an article from the Daily Beast. And he was essentially adopted out by a lady named Blair Miller, and she was interviewed in the article. And so she also expressed how she was also interested in adopting a Harmony, because both children have been in and out of different foster cares. And usually how it works is when a child is placed, according to my research, when a child has been detained and they were removed from the home and they were placed in foster care, they give the parent a plan to follow in order for them to get the custody back of the children. You know, whatever it was, if it was a drug abuse, if it was physical abuse or anything. So they have to go through a series of classes or show some type of therapy, and of course show, you know, a stable home. But the court gives them a certain amount of time, and then after the certain amount of time, if the parent does not show that they're completing, then they move on to start removing full custodial rights from the parents. And then at that point, the adoption process begins, where it's another probably a year to a year and a half to make sure that it is the right fit, and that the adoptive parents go ahead and comply with whatever requirements are. Now it gets a little tricky when the children have different fathers in this case. So if they have different fathers, then court has to go ahead and make contact with those fathers to let them know, hey, you're going to be losing rights. If you want to go ahead and obtain rights, this is what you need to do. You need to comply with X, Y, and Z. And so I don't know too much about this particular case, but I'm assuming based on the article that probably Harmony's father did comply with whatever the court or whatever the requirement was for him to gain physical custody of Harmony. I'm assuming this is how she came to be with the biological father and not with the biological mother. Perhaps mom was still working on herself and trying to get whatever it was court was requesting from her. Not sure. I have to dig more into this case, but the more important thing right now is finding Harmony. And like I said, the last time she was seen was in October of 2019. Nobody has seen her since. I know during the press conference there were questions regarding the father, as far as what has he said, what happened to her, or where is she. And so the chief didn't want to go too much into details, stating, quote, he wants to not go much into what was already discovered. Like, for him, the most important part is finding her, and in his eyes, she's still alive, right? And that's the hope, that she's still alive. So I want to share out her information. You see it on the screen. She does have but she's blinded on her right side, so she should be using glasses if you see her. You know, and if she's not wearing glasses, maybe she's squinting on one eye or whatnot. So, I want to make sure I do my part and share out this picture of her, of Harmony, in hopes of somebody out there knowing where she's at or having some information regarding her. And I, if you can, go ahead and share this out and trying to get more information regarding her. And with that, I will see you on the next one. Go ahead and comment below and let me know what you think. What do you think happened to her, in these 2 years during the pandemic? And also, do you think we're going to be hearing more of these cases that, kids disappeared during the pandemic? Because we have quite a few kids missing. And I've talked about some of them on my channel. And I'm researching other ones that are coming up as well. But what are your thoughts on this? And until then, we'll see you on the next one.